All right, JJ, how are you, my friend? How you doing? Terminator 2. That's hilarious, man. I'm still laughing about that. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's a great image for. That's a great image for that. Just a tremendous image. It makes me. I have this theory of learning. I sort of patched together. I thought of. You know, um, and humor plays part in it because I think that quite often people's minds shut down out of fear, and people are afraid of new things, afraid of new ideas quite often, or even a stunningly beautiful idea can result in people shutting their minds down. So you can't really teach them when their mind's shut down. How do you teach them? So how do you keep the mind open? And I think certain things will keep the mind open. Some that are kind of narcotic in a sense. Beauty keeps the mind open and the attention focused, of course, and is sort of narcotic, so that the fear and pain doesn't shut people's minds down. Humor is another thing. Humor has a sort of a pain-killing narcotic effect. It also expands the mind and holds it open longer. And then I think this is a new idea. It occurred to me while I was watching your videos. Spectacle tends to keep people transfixed. They stay a little open. Spectacle kind of stuns people, though, so that it maybe, I don't know to what degree they're learning, but in any event, if you can combine beauty, humor, and a little theater, I think it keeps people's minds open. Imagine if all your life, all your teachers you ever had were beautiful, humorous, and theatrical, spectacular. It would be a great thing. So anyway, your humor is well appreciated, man. I really appreciated it. That was hilarious, just hilarious. Um, uh, Moving on to the ideas, and thank you for all three videos. I'm going to make one response for each video because there's a lot of content, and thank you for all those references too. I really appreciate it. Yeah, atheists loosely knit. Yeah, atheists are loosely knit, and I think I was responding to a fellow atheist that, in a sense, most of the bond that exists among atheists as a group is simply there because there's opposition. In a way, it's from various theists, people in the theist area. So in a way, people create their own enemies. I mean, if there was no opposition, no oppression, no assault, a I mean, most of the bond among atheists as a group, I think, would dissolve, and people would simply go their own ways. But that being said, individuals would continue their bonds. As individuals, I mean, I think there are general human bonds. I don't think that atheists are not good for each other. To the contrary, like any other human interaction, based on the individuals involved, it can be very, very good. But yeah, I don't think there's a generally negative effect. I'll have to think about it a little bit more. But it also makes me think of when we were talking about I was on the topic of what does atheism offer. I was thinking that what is enough. I don't remember what was the exact context. What is enough? And I was thinking also about what you were saying about moral codes. And I was thinking that we have two sides of the law. We have a sort of proscriptive and prescriptive law. Most of the laws really don't do this, don't do that. It's proscriptive. But what I think really want to see out of humanity is not just them not doing negative things, but we want to see what are actually virtues. Things like kindness, compassion, mercy you'd mentioned, virtues. And they say that you can't legislate morals, you can legislate conduct. So you can legislate, thou shalt not do this. And to some degree, if people are not contributing to the community, you can tax them and create social benefits, sort of against their will or with their benign neglect. But what we really want to see is the spontaneous arising of virtue and expression of virtue from people. I don't know what creates that. Is that a code of virtue rather than a code of morals? I don't know. I think those are mainly culturally transmitted. I don't know about whether we could have a universal moral code. I mean, there seems to be a basic general universal moral code. You know, people aren't supposed to kill each other and etc. You know, putting virtues aside for a moment. There seems to be, you know, human bonds that occur just, you know, for lack of a better word, naturally among people. Do we need a universal moral code? I don't know if we need it. I mean, I think we sort of in a way have it. You know, your example about, you know, some countries throwing away food while the country next door is starving, I completely agree with you. It's ridiculous. It'd be great to work out a system of economics where that, you know, the surplus flows automatically to people, just mechanically flows. Even countries live their isolated little lives and they ignore the people next to them. I don't know what it is about human nature. I mean, I kind of think that almost everything negative, I'm just going to make a general statement, I don't know whether it's true or not, I haven't really thought about it very deeply, but I think that vast quantities of the negative behavior and conduct that we see in humanity is from fear. People are afraid. For some reason, they're not generous because they're afraid they won't have enough, so they hold on to what they have, you know. Fear dictates all kinds of things unconsciously with people. So somehow, and they don't trust each other because they're afraid they will be betrayed or someone will abuse them or exploit them, or they don't have the trust that their fellow person will take care of them and watch out for them, you know. So we legislate all these things, and it's all because of fear. You know, if we had enough love and trust and just a lack of fear would be a good place to start, you know. But transcending fear is a major thing. I mean, transcending fear, I could do a whole topic on that. I'm running out of time, and I got to go through so much. Yeah, I mean, I like diversity. To some extent, I like diversity of cultural custom and things. I mean, I used to teach English as a foreign language, you know, and I knew that one way I could always generate conversation is to ask people what they ate on holidays, because cultures were eating each other's pets, you know, or they were eating things that completely another culture just could not believe that you would ever eat such a thing. So in some, I mean, and think about part of this is just how hungry you are. I mean, imagine the first guy who ever ate a crab had to be hungry. I mean, these things, and they defend themselves. So, you know, you look at a crab, it's not necessarily appetizing unless you already know that it tastes good. But the first guy to eat a crab had to be hungry. Yeah, democracy. I could go on about democracy. It's fascinating. The imposition of a moral code. I have the problem. Well, all law is imposition in a sense. Imposing a code, however, is different. As I say, I don't think we can legislate the virtues. We can hope to create the environment in which they arise, maybe. The proper environment, the proper role models, etc., I think. But I don't know if we can impose it. Democracy, very interesting, fascinating. I read Polybius's work. You know, he was Greek, was captured by the Romans. I think he wrote about 150 to 100 BC or so. Wrote to the Greeks in Greek about the Roman Empire and the structure of the Roman government, and you know, I think that's what they based actually the American system on, with a Congress, a Senate, and then an executive branch. Only we added the judicial branch as a separate branch. But anyway, the whole idea of the sovereignty of the people is fascinating. I'm running out of time. I didn't fully address that, but yeah, and now I don't have time to go on, but I'm sorry. But in any event, I don't know if we can impose a moral code. We would hopefully, I would think, create the environment in which the virtues would spontaneously express themselves. And I think part of that is getting rid of fear. and then trust will arise, etc. But I'm naive. Okay, take care. Talk to you soon.